What's going on, y'all? And today I'm going to be explaining some interesting facts about the oil industry. And before I start the video, I want to mention that there is so many uses and so many ways to use oil. Alrighty, enjoy this video that I make. Let's get it rolling, shall we? Okay, so when it comes to the oil industry, this is where we produce oil, and it goes from all over the world, and they also transfer it to different countries. In fact, this is how it looks like. It's almost like a factory, but outside in the open air. But not to mention that the countries that is high in oil industry is in the Middle East, and especially Saudi Arabia. And I think I mentioned in a few videos before, I was in Saudi Arabia last year. I was there last year, I did the Umrah and everything, but I never got the chance to explore more places, and even the capital city of Saudi Arabia. And the capital city is Riyadh. This is how I spell it out. It's Riyadh, Saudi Arabia. This is the capital city of the country. You know, I want to visit there someday. Yeah, I've heard some really cool things about it. We'll see what happens. But anyways, on with the topic. So like I said, oil industry goes all over the world, and you transfer it to, or you deliver it to different countries. And there's so many uses when it comes to using oil, but I'm going to tell you some in particular. Like for example, we have oil that we use to make foods. Now keep in mind, too much oil isn't good for you, but you can use it when necessary. And there are different types of oil that you use for cooking too. Like for example, we have olive oil, and I've heard that olive oil is one of the most healthiest oil to eat. I've heard about it before. You know, in fact, my father explained to me that this is one of the most healthiest oil to eat, and I agree with him, and ever since it stuck to my head, and now this is one of my favorite oils. And also soybean oil, and I've also heard that soybean oil is the most common use when it comes to cooking. Also vegetable oil, and I've seen when I buy like a pack of chips, you know, especially the potato chips, I've seen in one of the ingredients they use vegetable oil. And also we have sunflower oil, and I don't know much about it, but I've seen on the old iOS UI, you know, before we updated to iOS 7, that's the icon, the photo gallery icon, had a sunflower on it. But ever since iOS 7 until today, they've changed the logo, and ever since they don't change it that much. But yeah, this is how the app looks like, and I'll never forget. Even though I use, you know, the newer versions of the iPhones, but I'll never forget the old one that we used to have, especially the way it looked. And sunflowers are really cool. No, I'm not gonna lie. And I like flowers too, especially from when I was little. And yeah, this is the types of oil for cooking, for example. And also we have oil for cars and vehicles too. But the ones that I know about in particular, we have high mileage oil and also synthetic motor oil. Now I've learned that when you drive a car or any other vehicles, you have to change the oil regularly, you know, depending on how much you use the car or you drive around. It depends. Let's say for example every 50,000 miles you have to change the oil. And also when you open up the engine, you can also put in some oil when necessary, but don't put too much though. And when it's time to change the oil, you have to change it, because if you don't change the oil, then it's not gonna run very well. Or if you don't have oil in the car, it's also not gonna run well. It won't run well, and the engine can get hot like pretty quickly, and it could like malfunction. I've heard about it before. Like for example, let's say within the car, in the gauge cluster, you know, whenever let's say for example a check engine light, that could be because you didn't change the oil, or because something is with the engine even though you changed it. But also a warning light could come on if you haven't done it yet, is say make sure you change the oil soon or put in some as soon as possible, because otherwise if you don't, then it could be a problem. And like I mentioned, the engine could heat up quickly and also maybe even malfunction. And also there's even oils within skincare too. Like for example, we have coconut oil, and I remember when I was little I used to have to put coconut oil on my face, on my skin, just to keep it smooth and good looking. And I do like it too, although I don't like it when it's greasy. But we also have oils and creams that aren't greasy. And I've heard we have a cream called Ben Gay, and this kind of cream isn't greasy and it is also good for you. And also lotion too, which I used to put on my face and my skin, especially way back in the day. I'll never forget those moments. So yeah, that is me explaining and giving you guys the idea about the oil industry. So there you have it. Also, make sure to like this video, and if you haven't subscribed to this channel, make sure you do. And with your support, you help grow this channel. Alrighty, stay tuned for more videos, folks. Thanks for watching.